Hello YouTube! The Tunturi Maxi restoration project continues with the painting and polishing episode. My name is Anselm and this is Anselm Restoration Channel. So, in the last episode we started this project with the disassembling the moped and did the bodywork and frame ready to be painted. If you haven't seen the first video yet, you will find it here. And I will also add link to the description down there. And this video is about painting the moped parts with original Tunturi paints and clear coat, and of course, for the final look, polishing the parts. No orange peel left behind. And by the way, they will look awesome, I promise you. Because, as I mentioned in the last video, I got permission from Tunturi to use their ad videos. I think why not bring them for you? So, let's start this episode by watching that clip. And by the way, if you don't want to watch those clips, I cut this episode in the parts so you can skip it and get to the point. But now, let's go!
Mannekiini, metsuri, kauppamies, postiljoni, pastori, virkamies, minnekä milloinkin matkalla lie, aina Tunturi mopedi se perille vie. Ministeri, portsari, sähkömies, kylmäkkö, parturi, putkimies, paikka se vaihtuupi vaivatta, kyllä Tunturi perille vie.
I'm heading for the museum quality end result with the moped, and that's why I chose the original paint manufactured by Tunturi. The paints were a bit expensive, but hey, what is the hobby that won't drain all your money? I tell you, it's a wrong hobby. The paint of course needed to be mixed by yourself, and I bought precision balance for weighing the paint. That way I was always 100% sure the ratio of thinner, hardener and paint is correct. I decided to paint the grey parts first because I thought if I'm about to fail, the grey parts are much smaller in size. That way the drop won't hurt me that much. But it turned out the fear was no needed, the paints were quite easy to use. I used a mid-price gun and it cost me something like 100 or 150 euros, and the gun did very well. Absolutely no need for very pricey guns. If there's some faults in this process, it's me, the user, not the device. The end result was something absolutely amazing that I couldn't even dream of anything this nice. The finish was very smooth and I couldn't help it, but I found myself touching the paint surface constantly. I even wondered for a moment whether this paint even needs to be clear coated. After the grey parts, we get to the long-awaited stage, painting with red. Oh yes! Can you see how uplifting it is to watch when the grey primer turns so quickly into beautiful red? We are releasing the red devil here. And while painting the parts, I realized that it's worth painting all the tighter and other awkward places first, and then lastly paint all the easy and bigger areas. This way the paint does not accumulate into too thick of a layers and start to run off. I end up getting some drains myself, and I was a bit worried first, but actually they were quite easy removed by water sanding. I've always thought that those grey abrasive papers is the product for water sanding. And how wrong I have been. An entrepreneur at local autofix shop introduced me these flexible abrasive hand sheets, and I suspect I will no longer be using those grey papers. These were so durable that I used only those two 1200 grits and two 500 grit sheets throughout the painting, clear coating and polishing steps. One pay for grey, one pay for red. I can easily recommend these products. Those were so much comfortable to use and the durability is very good to have. At least I find it a bit annoying to constantly get new sandpapers because the one in use is already ruined. This is not sponsored comment, I just want you to have some of my thoughts and what I would prefer. Alongside with those water sanding sheets, I used this 2000 grit buffing disc for finishing. It's actually designed for grinders, but you can also use it by hand. Of course, I managed to form some orange peel on the finish. But I learned that the orange peel is very easy to remove by water sanding. So it's same thing as with the paint drains. As long you make sure you have enough layers on your finish, you can easily smooth the surface by water sanding. Just make sure you have the layers thick enough. I think 3 layers is good amount of paint. If you don't have enough paint, you will easily cut through the primer. And ask me how I know. Been there, done that. After paint, clear coat and last water sanding session, it's time for a final step, buffing all those parts. I rented this buffing machine from that local Autofix shop I mentioned before, because I thought it's the fastest way to keep going. Always remember to season your buff discs to rolling, otherwise the final look won't be that good if there wasn't even layer of polish residue on the buffing discs. First microfiber buffing and then foam buffing. For microfiber I used Mirka's Polarsign 10 and for final finish with foam I used Polarsign 5. Microfiber buffing got almost all the matte finish left from the water sanding, but it still leaves the finish a bit hazy. So to remove that hazy appearance and to achieve the bright shine look, you need foam disc and finishing residue. Hello you handsome, say hi to the camera. All the grey parts went through the same process as the red parts. Polishing was just successful for the plastic as it for metal. Only thing I noticed is that plastic heats up a bit, so remember to keep your machine on the move. If you wonder why I dip that residue all over the surface before I start buffing, is that if I didn't do it, the residue went all over. So that way I keep myself and surroundings much cleaner, and that means avoiding the laundry day, right? Okay, enough for joking. I have some serious question for you. What kind of projects you might have, or are you planning to do some restoration by yourself? I'm interested to hear about those and maybe we could learn from each other. That would be nice, don't you think? So, throw me some comments. I don't know about you, but I think this is shiny as a new penny. Do you think what I think? Oh yes, it's time for a final reveal! And now, there it is. We have done all bodywork, sanding, priming, painting and polishing all those parts. And I am pretty satisfied the look I've got. the polishing work blew my mind. I couldn't believe I can get rid of all that orange peel I got. But don't get me wrong, I'm still in big learning experience here, and I don't want to brag about it too much, but I just can't understand how I done it all so well, because I've never done these things before. This is first time. And what I certainly did is bunch of mistakes. And one of the scariest mistakes during this project was that I left those gray parts here on the table, and they were clear coated. And then I started painting with red, and the door was open, and all the paint particles and fumes landed on those parts, and they got all over red hue. And I was terrified. I totally was terrified that I ruined those parts. But when little investigation, I found that just used some acetone. I quickly wiped those parts with acetone, and then I got most of it away. And then with the polishing machine, the all hue was gone. And I was so relieved. It was so relieving information that you can just use the polishing machine and remove that color. So this is my pro tip for you guys. Don't neglect your work with some laziness. Just cover your parts or take them to the safe place, and that's it. But I was lazy, I just left them there, and that scared me a lot. And if you are interested in any other mistakes or successes I made during this, just leave me some comment and I will get to those. But now, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, please leave thumbs up, and I will see you in next episode, which is actually putting those very first parts together. That's interesting. But now, take care, stay safe, bye bye.